There exists a silent force in our world, a pattern so subtle, so profoundly unsettling, that once you perceive it, you can never unsee it. It's not just about what you hit, but what you don't swing at, a cold, calculated decision that rewrites the very laws of engagement. This unseen hand doesn't merely play the game, it subtly bends its reality, manipulating outcomes before the ball even leaves the pitcher's grasp. It's an almost conspiratorial understanding of the strike zone, a preternatural patience that feels less like a skill and more like a form of psychic warfare. The consequences of encountering this force are absolute, leading not just to defeat, but to a profound sense of psychological dismantling for those who dare to stand in its path. Imagine a competitor who doesn't merely react to events but seems to orchestrate them, whose every non-action carries more weight than any aggressive strike. Enter Juan Soto, the modern embodiment of this insidious power, a hitting savant whose very presence at the plate is a declaration of impending dominance. He doesn't just step into the batter's box, he claims it as his domain, a territory where normal rules of engagement cease to apply. His infamous Soto shuffle isn't merely a flamboyant display, it's a taunt, a psychological weapon wielded with precision, a subtle message to the man on the mound that he is being observed, judged, and ultimately, dissected. This ritualistic dance is a prelude to an at-bat that transforms from a contest of skill into a one-sided interrogation, where the pitcher is the subject and Soto, the relentless inquisitor. Every turn of the head, every exaggerated hip sway, is designed to plant a seed of doubt, to destabilize the fragile confidence of an opposing arm. He weaponizes the pause, turning moments of inaction into potent acts of aggression, eroding the pitcher's mental fortitude pitch by agonizing pitch. This silent pantomime serves as a chilling forecast of the impending struggle, an overture to the inevitable. Soto's plate discipline is not simply excellent, it's an alien concept, a zone judgment so refined it borders on clairvoyance. He sees the pitch not as it approaches, but almost as it leaves the hand, an instant analysis that separates the true threat from the calculated deception. Fastballs grazing the edge of the zone are dismissed with casual disdain, curveballs diving just outside are allowed to plummet harmlessly, never eliciting a wasted swing. This isn't just about patience, it's about an unwavering belief in his own infallible assessment, a defiance of conventional wisdom that insists every hitter must protect the plate. He forces pitchers to throw strikes, not just to find the zone, but to thread the needle through the eye of a needle, knowing that anything less will be disregarded with chilling impunity. The pitcher must concede the strike zone to Soto, or face the consequence of inflating his pitch count to unsustainable levels. This battle of wills often lasts for an eternity, with Soto patiently waiting for the precise moment to strike, holding all the cards from the very first pitch. But this extraordinary discipline is merely the sinister precursor to the raw, unadulterated power that lurks beneath the surface. Once the psychological warfare has sufficiently broken down the opponent, once the pitcher is trapped, forced to deliver a pitch Soto deems worthy, the mask of patience drops, revealing the predator within. His powerful swing is a sudden, violent eruption, a controlled explosion that transforms a small white sphere into a rapidly disappearing projectile. It's a swift, decisive act of annihilation, a brutal punctuation mark at the end of a protracted, agonizing duel. The energy stored in his coiled frame, held in check for countless pitches, is unleashed in a fraction of a second, sending baseballs soaring with an almost casual force. There's no wasted motion, no desperate lunge, only a perfectly timed, perfectly aimed trajectory of destruction. This combination of preternatural patience and instantaneous violence makes him an existential threat, a hitter who first disarms the mind before delivering the killing blow with his bat. The consequences of this destructive prowess manifest most vividly in the crucible of clutch moments, especially under the searing spotlight of postseason baseball. When the stakes are highest, when the pressure mounts to an unbearable crescendo, Soto doesn't merely perform, he dominates, delivering the decisive blow with an unsettling regularity. These aren't lucky swings, they are calculated assassinations, meticulously planned and ruthlessly executed. Opposing managers watch in horror as their carefully constructed strategies crumble, rendered obsolete by a hitter who seems immune to pressure, unfazed by the weight of expectation. His clutch home runs don't just win games, they rip the heart out of entire teams, leaving a lingering sense of futility and despair. He becomes the focal point of every scouting report, every pitching discussion, yet understanding him does not equate to containing him. The more you analyze, the more you fear, for his power transcends mere physical ability. It is an act of defiance against the very narrative of a tense ballgame. The statistical anomalies that define Soto's early career are not mere impressive numbers, they are stark warnings, indicators of a player operating on a different plane of existence. Consider this chilling fact: Juan Soto possesses the highest career on-base percentage for any player through age 24 in the entire history of Major League Baseball, surpassing legends like Ted Williams and Ty Cobb. This isn't just about walks, it's about an inherent understanding of the strike zone, a refusal to engage on anything less than his terms, a relentless pursuit of getting on base by any means necessary. His ability to consistently reach base, regardless of what's thrown at him, ensures that the threat he poses is never truly extinguished. He's a constant generator of traffic, a perpetual motion machine of pressure that grinds down bullpens and systematically dismantles defensive alignments. Every time he steps to the plate, he's not just seeking a hit, he's orchestrating an inning, manufacturing opportunities, and slowly but surely, suffocating the opposing team. This relentless on-base prowess creates a domino effect of impending doom for opponents. Each time Soto walks, each time he singles, he doesn't just occupy a base, he becomes a strategic chess piece, moving inexorably closer to home plate. Pitchers who manage to survive his at-bats often find themselves immediately under renewed duress, forced to pitch from the stretch, with a runner in scoring position who seems destined to cross the plate. His presence on base acts as a psychological weight, forcing pitchers to adjust their mechanics, to throw pitches they might not otherwise, creating openings for the hitters behind him. He is the relentless tide that erodes the shore, slowly but inevitably drawing the game into deeper, more dangerous waters. The relentless pressure he applies doesn't just wear down pitchers, it wears down entire defensive strategies, creating cracks that others can then exploit. He is the architect of offensive success, even when he doesn't personally deliver the final blow. And then there are the moments when his power truly pierces the veil of expectation, delivering a shockwave that reverberates through the baseball world. He became only the fourth player in MLB history to hit a grand slam in the World Series before turning 22, joining a list of immortals. This isn't a fluke, it's a testament to a clutch gene so potent it feels almost supernatural, an ability to conjure the most devastating outcomes precisely when they are least expected and most impactful. Such a feat underscores a chilling reality: Soto is not merely a great young player, he is a historical force, shattering age-old benchmarks with a casual audacity. These aren't just home runs, they are emphatic statements of dominance, delivered with the cold precision of a master artisan perfecting his craft. To witness such moments is to understand that you are not simply watching a ballgame, but observing the calculated unraveling of an opponent's hopes by a singular, unyielding will. The true threat of Juan Soto lies in his apparent ability to dictate the flow and pace of the game itself, twisting the narrative to his advantage. He doesn't conform to the ebb and flow of a typical contest, he imposes his own rhythm, forcing pitchers to operate on his timeline, with his expectations. This subtle subversion of control is what makes him so terrifying to face. Opposing teams spend countless hours analyzing his tendencies, dissecting his weaknesses, yet their efforts consistently prove futile. He renders advanced scouting reports mere theoretical exercises, because his execution transcends conventional understanding. The mental toll he exacts on pitchers isn't just about pitch count, it's about breaking their will, instilling a deep-seated fear that every throw is a gamble, every outcome preordained by his silent judgment. He turns the pitcher into a reluctant participant in his own demise, a pawn in a larger game only Soto truly comprehends. His statistical profile continues to unveil layers of his generational uniqueness, further cementing his status as an unparalleled anomaly. Consider this astonishing truth: Soto is the only player in MLB history to have at least 100 walks and 20 home runs in his age 20, age 21, and age 22 seasons. This extraordinary consistency across multiple foundational years is not just rare, it's unprecedented, a testament to a blend of power and patience that simply shouldn't exist in such a young athlete. This isn't just elite, it's a statistical singularity, defying historical comparisons and rewriting the very metrics of what defines a generational talent. He is not merely excelling, he is setting new standards, creating a blueprint for future hitters that might never be replicated. The very fabric of statistical possibility seems to stretch and bend around his accomplishments, conforming to his unique blend of dominance. The psychological terror Soto inflicts upon pitchers is perhaps his most potent, yet least visible, weapon. Imagine standing on the mound, knowing that the man staring back at you possesses an eye so precise, a mind so patient, that he will only swing at your best pitches, leaving your merely good ones untouched. The pressure to execute perfection on every single throw becomes unbearable, knowing that the slightest deviation will either be dismissed or, worse, crushed. This isn't just about mechanics, it's about the erosion of confidence, the planting of doubt, the gnawing realization that you are engaged in a battle not just of arm versus bat, but of a mortal will against an almost infallible intellect. Every pitch becomes a test, every at-bat a grueling examination designed to expose the smallest flaw. He is the ultimate interrogator, and the pitcher, the unwilling subject, slowly unraveling under his relentless scrutiny. The escalating tension when Juan Soto steps to the plate is palpable, a heavy silence descending upon the stadium as everyone awaits the inevitable. There's a primal understanding that something significant is about to transpire, that the game is about to shift, fundamentally and irreversibly. This isn't just a plate appearance, it's a dramatic monologue, a performance where the ending feels predetermined, regardless of the pitcher's efforts. The air itself crackles with an ominous energy, a sense of impending consequence that hangs heavy over every thrown pitch, every held swing. He represents not just a potential run, but a complete disruption of momentum, a psychological blow that can ripple through an entire series. Opponents learn to dread his arrival, recognizing that his turn at bat signals a critical juncture, a moment where the very course of the game hangs precariously in the balance. But the true, unsettling nature of Juan Soto's talent emerges when you confront the chilling possibility that his discipline isn't merely exceptional patience, but something far more profound, something almost preternatural. It's the unsettling realization that his ability to lay off pitches inches outside the zone, to discern with absolute certainty the trajectory and final location of a baseball traveling at 95 miles per hour, is not just about vision or training. It feels like an advanced form of precognition, an almost supernatural ability to predict the future of a pitch before it even leaves the hand. Less a reaction, more a knowing. It's as if he exists slightly ahead of the present moment, observing the timeline of the pitch, making every at-bat less a contest of wills and more a preordained fate for the unfortunate pitcher. The true horror isn't his power, but the idea that he isn't playing the game at all, he's merely witnessing its outcome. This is the silent force, the pattern so unsettling, that once you perceive it through Juan Soto's actions, you can never unsee it. It is the insidious power that reshapes not just an individual at-bat, but the very dynamics of the game, bending the probabilities to its will. Soto is not just a player, he is an agent of this unseen hand, a living embodiment of calculated inevitability, turning baseball into a psychological battleground where minds are dismantled long before a bat ever makes contact. He exposes the inherent vulnerability of even the most dominant pitchers, revealing a fragility that belies their formidable talent. The mastery he demonstrates is less about physical dominance and more about a profound, almost terrifying, intellectual superiority over everyone he faces, making him an anomaly that defies conventional explanation. Are we truly watching a game of baseball, or merely observing the execution of a predetermined fate?